Hello, in this video we're going to look at a very important topic in Go and in programming in general, and that is loops. So if you're coming from another language, you usually have two loops. There is the while loop and the for loop. Well, in Go we only have the for loop, and there are different ways you can use the for loop. First way is you're coming from Java, C, C++, C Sharp, you probably see this quite a lot. What we can do is create a for loop, which is pretty much a statement that iterates through code throughout a condition, so while a condition is met. So first format of writing a for loop is by having an initializer. So here we're initializing I to be equal to 0, then have a semicolon, then in between the next semicolon and that semicolon we have the condition. So while I is less than or equal to 10, and in the last clause, in the last part, we have the way we want to add to this. So the way we're gonna stop the for loop, and that's by adding 1. So plus means add 1 to the variable in front of it. So if we run this, and there we go, you're gonna see it's looped 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So what it's doing is it's saying, okay, I is equal to 0. Okay, so is I less than or equal to 10? Yes, it is. So we're going to come in here and then add 1 to I. Then now this is going to be equal to 1. Is 1 less than or equal to 10? Yes. So it's going to do this and it's going to add to this. So now it's going to be 2, etc. until it reaches 10. So it prints 10 out because it's 10 is less than or equal to 10. Yes, it is. So it prints out 10 and then adds 1, so it's going to be 11. Is 11 less than or equal to 10? No, so it stops. So that's why it goes up to 10. Okay, so that's the first way we can do that. We're not going to do that in Go. You're not going to see it as much, but what you are going to see a lot is this, is using the range keyword in for. So the range, so what we have here first of all is we have a variable which holds a string, Julian, and what we're doing here is looping through this, so we're going to have this bit, this is the identifier, comma, and then the value equals the range of the variable. So it's got to be, what you pass in here has to be a data type which is iterable, so you can loop through. So for example, it doesn't make sense to loop through a number. You can't loop through 1, but you can loop through a string, because what this is really doing is looping through each character. So here is exactly what it's doing. This is the index, so the position of the iterable it's in. We don't need it, so we just use a blank identifier, which is the underscore. That's when you don't want to use a variable. But what we do want is each character, the element in that iteration. So in the first iteration, the first character is going to be J. So what we're doing here is printing char. We've enclosed it with the string function, because if we simply print out char, it's going to return the ASCII code. So we need to enclose that with string to actually display the character. And then we're just going to add a space to it. So if we go back, as you can see, it goes through first character, adds the space, U next character, space, L, space, Y, space, A, space n, and here there is actually a space, but you can't really see it with the new language added here. So this is pretty much to loop through a slice, an array, something iterable. So, well, I'm not going to do it now because we haven't seen slices or arrays, but once we get into those, we'll see how this is very useful. The next type of for loop is the infinite for loop. So what this does is pretty much loop through a condition. So it's just going to check if a condition is true, and if it's true, then just execute the code inside it. So here we're just saying I is equal to 0. If I is less than 5, then we're going to print this. Then we're just going to add 1 to I. Obviously this is very similar, or pretty much the same to this. However, the main use of the main example I want to show, I don't know why this is here, is this. This is an infinite for loop. So if we do that, if we do this, this is going to break, because what we're doing here is infinitely printing this. There is no condition for it to get out. So what we can do is use break, and break pretty much breaks the loop. It stops it, it goes out. So if you run this, this is only going to print once. Yeah. But for example, if we revert back to the example we had, where we have this condition, what we're going to do here is, knowing with previous knowledge, we're going to write if I, which is the variable we're incrementing, equals 3, I'm going to break. So what this is going to do is, when it reaches 3, it's going to get out the loop. So it's not even going to get to the point. Well, I think it is going to print it 3 times, but let's just see what happens. Yeah. So it's printed 1, 2, 3, 3 times, and then it's got to 3, and it's just stopped. So those are for loops. They're used quite a lot in programming, so you should read more about them because they're very, very useful if you come from a non-programming background. But if you come from a programming background and just wanted to know how you write them in Golang, then I think you're good to go. Anyway, if you have any questions, just leave them in the description. I'll try to answer them. Thanks for watching.